Namaste, and welcome to the Force Niyama podcast. Here we delve into the subject of yoga and the teachings of Yogacharya BKS Iyengar with his most senior direct disciples. In this episode of the podcast, I will continue talking to Sri H.S. Arun, a direct disciple of Guruji BKS Iyengar and a senior Iyengar yoga teacher from Bangalore. Arunji, you have written more than 15 books on yoga. Many of them are in your mother tongue in Canada, but I want to ask you about the book that you have written in English called Experiment and Experience on the Chair, the Yoga Way, where you delved into the various uses of the chair in yoga practice, even referring to it as the star of props. Could you share what inspired you to write this book and why you chose to focus on the chair and its role in yoga practice rather than any other prop?
So I went to a publishing company, those who published magazines, weekly magazine. I went to the editor and requested him, can you come and interview my group? He said, you are a teacher, why can't you do it? He will publish it. So that's how I went to Guruji and asked, is the offer for me? So they don't want to come, they want me to interview. He said, there is a tree of yoga, a couple of articles, interviews, you just translate it. So I translated that one article, one interview, and gave it to me. It became popular. So then he called me and said, why can't you write an article for our magazine weekly once? I took a product for ladies. So I asked my student to do 2 poses, photo, and then write asanas for that. Reference, of course, Gita Ji's Yoga Jump Women. And then I think almost 3.5 years, I wrote that every week, 2 asanas and instruction and how it helped for a woman. So after 2.5 years, so one of the publishers, so he sent those times never had, as you know, it was a postcard. In the postcard, he mentioned he's so and so. He owns a publishing company. He wants to do the book. I was scared how to do that. So then I sent all the material to Guruji. So Guruji saw that. He said, you have to write more. It's not sufficient if it's the book. So I wrote and again said, no, you have to write. You left 2 chapters on what you call it, from Yoga Jump for Women. So that was on anatomy. It's difficult to translate anatomy in my language. Very hard thing to do. So I know it happened and the book was launched. So like that, when the book was launched, Guruji gave a preface for that book too. What do you call blessing? Wishing people will buy this. The book, what do you call it's not commercial. The rate is the price is very low. The photo should have been better. So all this thing he said that, and the book went on well. We almost like they sold on 3,000 copies, and the government also took for their libraries. Mm-hmm. And then when he printed, so instead of printing 1,000 photographs, 1,000 pages, he made an extra 1,000. So next time, he said, next year, he said, you make it concise book. I made one concise book. So like that, I went on doing all, like I wrote on yoga for school children, and then yoga pranayama, and then one was on Surya Namaskar. But Surya Namaskar, I took it in a different ways, that like actually how to religious practice of Surya Namaskar, and then solar system. And that book was almost, the government took around 5,000 to 6,000 copies for the, what do you call that, for the villages. So that was interesting for me. And then I wrote, become one of my friend or a yoga master, master martial arts. So he's an elderly man, he's 84. So he used to incorporate asana in his teaching. So that's why I was asked to write on martial art and yoga, karate and yoga. Mm-hmm. And then I wrote 3 booklets like Health for Everyone, and then Yoga in Day to Day. So when I was writing all this thing, it was not my experience at all. It was the book. Most of it is Gita's book. Guruji all of a sudden said, stop writing book. People think you are commercial. I took it very deeply. I never wrote not even a sentence. And then I became a little popular and here in television. So they wanted script. So I was not able to write even a line. So some completely blocked my mind to write. It's not possible. Even now it's difficult for me, even now. Not so easy to write. I can speak, I can give classes, I can speak on the subject, but not to write, I can't do it. So what happened was I was traveling and I was using for the prop. And when I was using prop, so abroad, people said, if you don't write book, so they will use your technique and they will publish on their own. But still, I was not comfortable because I don't stagnate in my practice. I always try to improvise or to move certain way. So I can't stick to the same thing. So I was reluctant. Then somehow, well, I was in a place in Argentina. It's called Bariloche. They call Switzerland of South America. So there I saw a person who's a sports photographer. He said, Master, if you can do the asana. So I took all these photos there actually. I came back at 2009, I took the photo and I was just keeping it was with me. So then when as people started, then one lady, one of my hosts said, do one thing, you just talk, we will record, that let it be a book, then let's see. So that's how it became like that. And then, so it's a bits and pieces. The work was in bits and pieces. And then even there, when I was again in the US, someone, that great lady, she said, you just sit beside me. You give one sentence on asana, I will write. So that was one sentence. It was just a skeleton work, then put little flesh on it. So the visual makeup was done very late. It was in 2014. 8 people touched that book. And the professional editor here. So that lady said, because she was not happy because I was not giving any like, if you do Uttanasana, it's good for the headache. If you do twisting, it's good for back pain. If you do Trikonasana, it's good for knee pain. I'm not giving any commercial thing there. So she said, no one is going to buy. I said, that's okay, madam. I don't want anyone to buy it that way. My students will buy. So then I was not happy because it was a typical book. There was not, my touch was there. So my touch was actually a humor. I give a class like a story. So the story was missing. So then I introduced story and then it was really, really, what do you call? If I even think about it, I get tears. 2009, Guruji was in Bangalore. I almost finished, including photos. I've finished my writing, and Guruji was in Bangalore, and all my students. Sorry, 2014, not nine. All my students went to seek his blessings, and a few people said, "You give the manuscript to Guruji," and few people said, "No, don't give it to him." So all this was happening, but still, I have my wife to take the manuscript. If he sees, if he asks, you can give it to him. What he can just ask, throw it. That's it. Is it done? So all my almost 8 people went there. So talked to him, and then Sri Mata, I was hesitant to give that book to him and manuscript to him, but he saw, she was carrying that book. I mean, manuscript. I said, Sri Mata, what is that? She said, this is my husband's manuscript. Give it to me. So that was interesting. So he gave it to me. He took it and then he said, ask him to come to Bangalore village because there's some function there. So she told, no, he's traveling, he's coming on the same day. Doesn't matter, let him come from the airport. So I directly went to the airport and then he was there. So he was alone in that. That is the interesting thing. Not much people, one or two are there. So seek his blessings. And then when I left, I was leaving, he said, have prasadam and have food and go. That was his father's ceremony doing after a long time doing it better. So after that, I was leaving, he said, I have manuscript with you. I have manuscript with me. So I will see that I will do something good. So we are living and then we met Kiraji. She said, we are not giving books to any reading to him. He will write something fun. So then I went back, came home. I was supposed to leave to United States. I write a letter, Guruji, manuscript to you for my first book. You have given the title for my book. So I want blessing from you. So he wrote to me. I went from Bangalore to Pune. He was sick. He was not able to walk from the main door to his home door. So he said his ECG, his students have taken ECG. ECG was normal, but he was nauseating, not comfortable. So when he was able to practice, so he's going to give me the foreword for my book. After a week, he sent a beautiful foreword to me, saying that I don't want you to wait for the book, for the foreword. I'm writing to you. So to carry the book is very heavy. I have what you call torn a few things. So then was able to read. So this was spiral binding. Then he sent even that one all together, and he came to me. I was in tears because he was sick, but still he was able to see my book and what you call give me a forward to that. Mm-hmm. After that, one more letter saying that because we celebrated 2000 when our Yogashraya 25th annual function. So he came for that. That was the last visit to Prashant Yogashraya. So he spoke on wonderful on yoga sadhana, and we had one person to demonstrate. Not definitely, it's not an Iyengar yoga. Like what you call, he does many asanas. Young man, strong personality. He can do Natarajasana. He can keep his legs straight. He can stand on one hand, one Mayurasana, all these things. So he gave a demonstration in front of him. And then I was in a, typical, the stress. Then he asked that person, do you know what was happening to back leg? He said, no. Then forget, you're not doing yoga at all. Then he asked me, Arun, can you do Shishasana? I said, yes. So I took the shirt, same thing, tied it, took out the shirt, the bare chest. I went to the pose. So when I was going to the pose, from how many years you're practicing Shishasana? I said, 2 days. Everyone laughed, and then a lot of instruction was given. I'm here to break Arun's habit. So he said I was keeping my head in Shishasana, this part, not the center of the head. So when he corrected, so everyone started, there's a transformation, even in my face. Even in my face, it was a transformation in Shishasana. Everyone felt it. So that's how I was asked to do Shishasana. And then in my mind, sometime when I met him in the Pune Institute in the library, he said, I want to see how you practice after the age of 50. So in my mind, in my heart, I was already planning to demonstrate all those asanas like Ekapada, Rajakapotasana, or Ekapada Viparidandasana, or Hanumanasana, some of all those difficult postures. I was mind and body was also prepared in that sense. Because I never had food because when Guruji was here full of food in my stomach and chest. So I never had it, but I had to practice. So I had a cup of something to drink. Then went to Guruji house and picked him up. He also said, even I never had any food. I had something to drink. So the program was Guruji entered, all the 1,000 people were there holding candles. And the program, then we chanted Yoga Sutras. And then there's a music program. So Guruji was so fascinated with the percussion. So he said, continue another 15 minutes. Up here, yeah. So they continued, and my heart was so full. And then the one gentleman who came as a chief guest went on speaking on subject. It was boring for everyone. Then person who, what do you call, the master of ceremony MC, she said, our teacher, Arun is going to demonstrate. I saw Guruji's face and Guruji, people are waiting for you. It's already time. So please, you give a blessing for us. No, you have to go practice. Go and demonstrate. So I took the chair. I said, his heart is full. I can't demonstrate. I can definitely have to practice. So I took the chair and went on practicing. So all the poses which look a little different, I've already thrown to my Guruji. So that was in 2009. So after that, I wrote the book. Mm-hmm. So chair, the reverse chair. So I see for me every day is a learning process. That's why I'm always to be with my students or to be with the practitioner so that I can learn. So sharing goes on between two, not just one. So if the person in front of me is not catching it, then I'm not a teacher. I can't. It's a completely failure. So that's why I want to connect with the people around. So that is, it comes under a bracket, Maitrī, friendliness. If you practice friendliness, automatically compassion comes to you. Then the mudita, ananda, everything comes. It's a step-by-step happens on its own. So first in my class, in my practice, I have to connect with the skin, the muscle, bone, joint, breath, physiological organs, and to my consciousness. So if that's the thing, then I have to connect with my student or whosoever is in front. It's not in a yoga class. Even otherwise, I have to practice that friendliness. So that's my way of practicing yoga, not just my body movements. I connect with my this tech, what you call Maitrī. So I practiced that, and then the last one, the demonstration was Ardha Chandrasana. I took the particularly Ardha Chandrasana. I was telling, then from Ardha Chandrasana, I went to Hanumanasana. So people clapped. And Guruji also, 1, 2, then I kept up. It's recorded. So when it happened, I said, I'm not showing Hanumanasana as Guruji's favorite thing. I'm showing because in intensive, Guruji was explaining how to stretch the groins in Ardha Chandrasana and Hanumanasana. So that's why split went that way. So that's how, and then Guruji spoke on Samadhipada for an hour. So it was brilliant. So we were all touched. Then interesting thing was, so he announced Arun has giving us food. Everyone come, we'll have food. That's a very touching part. We really, to be frank, we never prepared that much food. We prepared only for 600 people. There are almost 800, 900 people. So the caterer, he knew the what do you call, what's happening there. He went and gave us the food. It was interesting. So always Guruji is always in my head. And what to say about Guruji. So chair is not actually a used chair, that's mine. So for example, everyone thinks I have a favorite pose. So now in a couple of 3 or 4 years, everyone thinks my favorite pose is Parivrutta Janu Shishasana. Everyone thinks. Sometimes even I thought, oh, is this my favorite pose? I was questioning myself.
What is your
For
favorite
me,
pose?
will come to point. There is no favorite pose as such. My favorite pose at the beginning, as I said, Kapalbhati, Bhastrika, Pranayama, and Siddhasana. Then Nate Namaskara was my favorite pose. Then coming to system, Iyengar Yoga, standing poses are my favorite. Then came, everyone thought my favorite pose is, even people might have seen the pose of Upashapanasana, forward bend is my favorite pose. I can sleep there or whatever. So then 45 minutes of Shishasana, 45 minutes of Sarvanasana, 15 minutes of that was my favorite. So like that, each I take the, you were asking about Swadhyaya, this is my Swadhyaya. Taking one pose and go on practicing to reach certain level of my practice. I have to think. So that's why I take years and years to practice this same. Now it was like Parivrtta Jani Shasana was my favorite. Now I have changed. It's not Parivrtta Jani, it is my Ardha Matsyendrasana. I'm trying to understand the Ardha Matsyendrasana. So coming to, because I was said, Guruji's corrected my head position. And everyone felt even my face changed, the expression changed. So that's the point. So because sensory organs in the face, we all do asanas. Each asana has a different effect. And for a yogi, it will be the same. It can be a forward bending or a backward bend, a twisting, whatever. It's the same expression, same feeling. And that's what I was asking, because I give online class, or even traveling or teaching, I'll tell them, when you practice, you listen to the instruction, you don't go deep inside. So that's one of the instructions, the last instruction from Guruji, that practice in depth. Go deep into your practice, not just showing my talent of stretching or Parivrtta Jani Shasana. So coming to the point that if I am doing a Prasarita Padottanasana, how I feel my sensory organs. If I'm doing a Shishasana, is it the same? If I'm doing Vipitandasana, is it the same? If I'm doing Karnapidasana, is it the same? If I'm doing a Sarvangasana, is it the same? So we have to go to your sensory organs to feel it. So is it the same or different? So this is the way I practice. I try to I experience few things, and I want people also to experience it. This in the same line, if possible. So the chair thing is like that. So I took years only chair to explore. And funny thing, as I said, I like to see people how to practice. So when I used to go to Pune, everyone knows Guruji will practice from 9 to 12. All the senior teachers will go in front of him, side, back side, front side, sides everywhere. To see that if they had a glimpse, the Guruji sees him, then they will connect. So some of the people, even Western, I said, no, I will not, I will be there. I'll be there to 9 to 12. I'll be sitting on the staircase of Pune and watch the Guruji's practice. That's important for me. That's for me. Not showing what I'm doing. I don't need, because he has given me so many instructions, so many suggestions, so many teaching that is more than enough to for our practice. So I don't need anyone to correct in that sense. So I have to practice that in a proper way. So that as he used to say, the teacher is inside you. Whenever need, the teacher will come to you. That's the point. So if I'm practicing in a deeper way, if I'm connected to myself, the Guruji will be there. So if you think people are, oh, I'm going to do something new, is Arun doing it? No, it's not Arun. Definitely no. It's from him. So he has practiced. I have watched him practicing. So I also, when I do certain thing, it looks new. No, it's not new at all. For example, you might have seen Guru is taking a long, tall stool. So bending back like Shisha head down, the legs up. It looks like Vipit Dandasana, but Vipit Krani. What is there? Using a chair. And then there is one more pose called Navasana, or a belt to the armpit, and the other end goes to the foot. Everyone is new. No, we just done that. So if I think it's my own, no. It's a foolishness to think that, so it's my own. Nothing is new. Nothing is my own in that sense. So he has practiced. We are also practicing. We can connect only if you are go deep into your practice. We can connect with the teacher.
It's such an inspiring story. I just have goosebumps on my skin when you talk about Guruji in such a beautiful way. I know that you are traveling a lot, teaching all your international students from all over the globe, from Chile to Israel, from Poland to Indonesia. Do you observe any differences and similarities among your students worldwide, and what are these?
Yes. So now my what you call a way of practice has changed. As I used to say that first few years you had to work on physical structure anatomically. That is physical practice. Then you have to graduate from there. Like so, first few years you're learning like a ABCD alphabets. Then you make a word. Then you make a sentence. Then you make a poem or a prose. It's like that. So I have to progress from one to one. So now my next concept, in fact, to share with you, I'm writing one more book. So it's called as this is experience the pleasantness, the yoga is the title of the book. That is sukha, pleasantness, santosha, then ananda. So this is the 3 steps. So for our practice, that's the message for all the practitioners. You have to hold the pose for a longer time. So that's the basic concept of asana practice. You have to hold the pose for a longer time. That's the definition. Sthira, Sukham, Asana. Sthirata, stability. Sukha is not comfort. Sukha is pleasantness, as Guruji said, delight. So that has to be there. And then from there, next level is happiness. Then the another level is ananda. So it is triggers on the brain. So when we practice, you have to feel sukha, santosha, and ananda. So I gave an example also, like some people say we do 1 hour of yoga practice, 15 sun salutation, 50 Kapalbhati, 50 Vastrika, and then we stretch, we do meditation. So it's a package. We can't do it as a package at all, not at all. So when we say in that, asana, yes, of course, we're doing for a common man. And pranayama is a distribution of energy, or what you call prana, I am expansion of energy. And next is atha dhyanam. Now dhyana happen. Is not doing. So people get confused. I'm doing meditation. You're totally wrong. So dhyana is not doing. So dhyana has to happen. So if dhyana has to be that happen, you have to have that, what you call sthirata and sukhata. So then pranayama and pratyadhyana happens. So then you can understand what is meditation. So it is not just chanting mantras, can be a meditation. It's just a chanting. So to go deep into your own self, it takes years. So then only you can understand what is ananda. So so that's the concept, that's the way you have to practice. Because as you were asking about the difference, so most of us were struck with the what you call the alignment or the physical thing, not going deep into our practice. So always open eye, corrections, always. I mean, there's a funny story I written in my book. So in the name of corrections, adjustment, they are restless. Even I have one student, told him, afternoon I was sharing with my wife. So he does Sarvangasana, go on moving his shoulder, neck action. Even in Shavasana, people go on adjusting like this to keep, because we keep the center of the wrist. First, to keep the center of the roll your thumb out. You come back, go on adjusting. So they don't understand the sthirata at all. So they don't try to get the calmness at all. Always aggressive, always on what you call aggressive action. So there is no sattvic approach. There's always a rajasic approach. So we have to cut down the rajasic approach to go to the sattvic approach. So otherwise, just focus on alignment. As I say, how many years we know the point. If you want me to demonstrate Samakonasana with my pant, with my shirt, I can do Samakonasana.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't need any preparation because the body has already done. The body has its own memory. I can just flip to my leg to the side. Yogananda, I can spread the leg, but that is not the asana for me. That's a damas, I'm just showing up. So I have to go deep into myself to go into that pose. And if you observe in my practice or my demonstration or in my book, I can't open my eyes if I have to go deep into myself. And I have to close my eyes. So sometimes I may smile, I make some expressions. So that is definitely because I had to go into that level of that sukha, santosha, and ananda. So for that, I take one asana to expand that consciousness. So like Indian music, they say I have to take one item or one raga, then go on expanding that. The idea is to, in fact, you said about goosebumps, isn't it? So you have to get the moment you think of it, they should get goosebumps inside, not external.
Mhm.
So that's the way, for example, if I listen to good music, even the musician may not be experiencing that feeling. I may get that feeling somewhere here, somewhere here. Even you might have felt, if you see a good thing in nature, you get goosebumps. You get something different. Or something different, to feel that something different, you have to practice silence. So silence in the muscle, you have to silence the mind. That's the way you have to practice asana. Not to stick. If you are practicing standing poses, if you are teaching standing poses, don't do standing poses. It's too much for your hip, it's too much for the knee, too much for the ankle. It's not just physically doing. You see 20 people, 30 people in a class. So you already practiced 1 hour. You may not be having time to practice Shishasana. Though we say you have to practice Shishasana, Sarvangasana. No, Shishasana have energy bar and give class. So there also you have to demonstrate. Then you see sometimes you take even the tape measurement. So leg vertical, thigh horizontal, all these measurement we take. So we also get the mind also does asana, not just physical there. When you see 30, 40 people there. So you should plan your practice in such a way that you get that sukata, at least that presentness. So that's the idea of practicing asanas.
Arunji, your wife Srimata is also an Iyengar yoga teacher. How has the practice of yoga impacted your relationship? And how does it work when both the partners are equally engaged in the yoga practice and in the teaching of yoga?
My wife is a very interesting lady. She took care of me from the day one when I joined yoga. When I started teaching here. So mother gave the place and she was working in a government office. So she gave me food and she gave me my son, wonderful son. I said interesting because she allowed me to travel. Although it's very difficult to manage the institute. And even now, she's a very senior practitioner compared to anyone in Bangalore. She had been to Pune, stay for a month some years back. And with her own limitations, she practiced until a little health issue, like sometime, like it is like an accident. It was retinal detachment without any reason. Just like that. Guruji was there and he asked not to wear contact lens and he asked her how to practice Shishasana also. And she's not interested in teaching. Even now, if I practice here, pose, she'll be beside me, seeing me practicing. She practices each and every day, each and every day. And if there's someone beside us, if the person is blocking her vision, she said, no, go to the side. I have to see what he's practicing. So very carefully she observes me, and she's a very good critic. So typical Iyengar yoga background. She's a very good critic. She will tell right away what I am practicing or what others are practicing. Intelligent, did her masters in philosophy, Sanskrit, a good background. But as I said, she doesn't want to teach. She will teach only in my absence so that I can travel. So the moment next day, for example, if I came on September 20th, 21st, she will cease to be a teacher. People like her teaching. Everyone likes her. But she doesn't want to teach. 21st, she said, it's over. I'm not giving class. If I had to rest, I can rest. But she will not give class. She will ask her assistant or other teacher to give class. So the moment she sees my face, she'll cease to be a teacher. That's the interesting character from Srimada. Sometimes we listen to Guruji's lecture together, Prashant's lectures, sayings together, and we both like music all the time. Are we more onto our ritualistic practices, the pujas, and you saw the video also
Yes.
on Patanjali. So people ask me what you miss. So I miss really the practice of my ritual pujas at home. We're close to each other in that sense. So as I said, practice is very much important for her. And then if we practice, as I said, if we practice Maitrī, friendliness, there's no other practice is required. So that will definitely the whole world will change if a person can practice Maitrī. So we have intolerance everywhere throughout the world. So what we need is Maitrī friendliness. So the friendliness has to start from ourselves. And if you are in a deep practice, you don't have all those, the judgment, comparing things. It's not happening. It will not happen.
Yes, only when we develop true friendliness, love, compassion towards ourselves, within ourselves first, we would be able to share this feeling with everyone around us. What would be your message to Iyengar yoga practitioners today?
Yeah, please have freedom to practice. Open your eyes and practice and close your eyes. So try to get that, the sukhatha, that is pleasantness, happiness, and enjoy in that sense. That's all we need. So practice in that sense. So choose, like as I said, as a musician, they choose a certain thing to go deep into themselves. So choose a pose where you can expand your consciousness, where you can expand your happiness, you can expand your sukha, then happiness, and then try to get that ananda. So don't repeat things. So if you repeat things, any sport, like a sports injury, definitely you're going to hurt yourself. So don't use abusive language in teaching. Don't be very aggressive. It hurts. It hurts not just others, it hurts even you. After you know that you are hurting them, then you also get hurt. Oh my sorry. You feel sorry for yourself, but you may not say sorry to others. So, for example, if my student doesn't understand, it's my fault because I am not able to convey what I have to convey. So it's not nothing to do with him. But again, coming to that nowadays we don't get students, we get customers, clients. That's the thing. So they have demand, they have their own thing. So they come with that aspiration. Oh, if I come 3 months class, 3 months, what I'm getting it. So am I going to repair myself? So all these things will happen. It happens. So they come with an expectation. So if you come with an expectation, it's very difficult. If you don't have any expectation, it's a completely different story.
So what would you tell to this people who are interested in doing certain type of yoga or doing something related to yoga, but they have these expectations and demands? Would you for example accept them for the class, or would you recommend them something else?
No, see, as I said, I'm there for 50 years. So the moment they enter, like I'll come to know, is they really coming to learn or they are coming as a customer? So if there's a customer, I know how to handle them. So I said, sorry, we have a lot of students, we don't have place. So we don't admit or we don't take registration for them. Like, for example, I will be in a class, I'll be in a class and from years and years and then, so students, I will bring my person or my student or not student, sorry, my cousin or my friend. So that's why we get a good student. Otherwise, we don't get it. By seeing what do you call, on a website coming here, explaining something. So if they don't get that what they expect, then they write a blog. I went there, you make just humor. So he will not give. They don't know. Difficult. So the teacher needs people who can understand. And even if it doesn't understand, it will be easy. So it's very difficult. Only people who are learned, and they think they are learned, for them it's very difficult to teach. So because they think they know everything. There's a beautiful story. There are two young men, friends were talking to each other. So they wanted to learn music. So one person already learned music. Both of them, they go to a master. So the person who has already learned music, so he went there, says, Master Ji, I want to learn music. So for how many years I need to practice or learn? He said, 20 years. So he went back and the other person went who had not learned music. So he went to the master. Master said, he also asked the question, he said 10 years. So he went back and told his friend, I can learn in 10 minutes, I can teach you for 10 years. Then he was surprised. The other person was already learned. He went back to the master. Sir, master, why for me 10 years extra? Said you need 10 years extra because you have to unlearn. You have to forget what you have learned. Then you can learn better. So that's it, 10 years. So that way, so fresh, stiff body is still better to teach. Flexible body, Guru used to say, flexible body sometimes it's a curse because it's just they do it. So they don't use the brain. They don't need the intelligence. It's just they go. So the stiff body is something for a teacher to teach. Oh, I'm sorry, can't help him. How to help him? What props I can use? What's the technique I use?
I think there was one quote actually by Prashantji that we need to learn how to teach and then to teach how to learn, that it is a continuous process and you could never say that, now I'm done and I know that is the moment when your journey is over. And
Absolutely.
thank you so much, Arunji. I'm very happy to have this opportunity to talk to you and I wish you all the best and all the best with your book coming. Happy Diwali. And
Thank
yes, goodbye.
Thank
you.
Dziękuję.
Thank you. Thank you. Dziękuję. Thank you for tuning in. You could listen to more episodes of the Force Niyama podcast directly on the website or on platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcast, and Pocket Casts. See you in the next episode.